A guy came in ready to buy, had his financing lined up, knew the model he wanted, did all his homework, walked out 3 hours later with keys in his hand and a smile on his face. 2 months later, he's back in the showroom, and he's not smiling anymore. He wants to know why his payment's $50 higher than what we agreed on. I pulled his file, checked the contract, and I had to tell him, that is what you agreed on. You just didn't read it. I sold cars for Toyota for 20 years. And I'm going to tell you something that's going to sound harsh, but it's the truth. Most people who walk onto a dealership lot have already lost before they even start negotiating. Not because they're stupid, not because they didn't do research, but because they don't know what game they're actually playing. You think you're negotiating the price of a car. You're not. You're navigating a system that's been refined over decades to separate you from as much money as possible while making you feel like you won. And if you don't understand how that system works, you're going to get taken every single time. I'm going to walk you through the entire process, from the moment you step on the lot to the moment you drive off. And I'm going to show you exactly where the traps are, exactly how we set them, and exactly what you need to do to avoid them. This isn't theory. This is the playbook I used for 2 decades to close deals that made the dealership money and cost customers thousands. Here's what nobody tells you about buying a new car. The advertised price is fiction. The payment they show you is engineered. The trade value is manipulated. And the financing is marked up. Every single touch point in the deal is a profit center, and every profit center has a script attached to it that's designed to make you say yes without thinking. I watched guys on my floor pull an extra $8,000 out of deals on cars that were advertised at invoice. I watched finance managers add $1,200 to interest rates and call it market adjustment. I watched managers trade customers out of cars they just bought 6 months earlier and roll so much negative equity into the new deal that they'd be underwater for 5 years. And here's the part that still gets me. Most of those customers thought they got a good deal because we made them feel like they won. That's the game. And if you're about to buy a new car, you need to know how it works. First, the lot walk is not casual. You're being qualified before you ever talk numbers. You pull into the dealership, you start looking at cars. A salesperson walks up, introduces themselves, asks if you're looking for anything specific. Feels friendly, feels helpful. It's not. That's the qualification process, and it starts the second you step out of your car. We're watching what you drove in. We're listening to how you talk about what you want. We're asking questions that sound like small talk, but are actually intelligence gathering. What brought you in today? Have you been looking at other brands? Is this for you or someone else? Every answer you give is building a profile that we're going to use to structure the deal. If you drove in with an older car, we know you've probably got equity or you're payment-free, which means we can push monthly cost. If you mention you've been looking at other dealerships, we know you're shopping around, which means we need to create urgency. If you say you need something by the end of the month, we know you're motivated, which means we don't have to discount as much. None of this is in your favor. All of it is positioning us to control the deal before you even sit down. The move here is simple. Be vague. If they ask what you're driving, you say, I'm just looking at options right now. If they ask about timeline, you say, when I find the right deal. If they ask if you've been to other dealerships, you say, I'm doing my research. You're not giving them anything to work with, which means they can't start building a strategy around you. Second, the test drive is designed to create emotional commitment, not evaluate the car. You find a car you like. They offer to let you test drive it. You think you're evaluating whether the car is a good fit. They know you're falling in love with it. And the second you do, your negotiating position is gone. Here's how we used it. We'd let you drive the car for 15-20 minutes, long enough that you start picturing yourself owning it. We'd encourage you to try different features, adjust the seat, connect your phone. We'd make small talk about where you'd take it, what you'd use it for. We're not selling you the car. We're selling you the idea of owning the car. By the time you get back to the dealership, you're mentally committed. And now, when we sit down to talk numbers, you're not negotiating from a position of, should I buy this car? You're negotiating from, how do I make this work? That shift is worth thousands of dollars to us. I've watched customers get emotionally attached to a car in 10 minutes and then agree to deals they would have walked away from if they'd kept their head clear. The test drive is a closing tool, not an evaluation tool. If you're serious about staying objective, you test drive before you negotiate. You drive multiple cars from different brands, and you don't start talking numbers until you've had time away from the lot to think clearly. Emotional decisions make dealerships money. Logical decisions save you money. Third, the first number they show you is never the real number. It's bait. You sit down, they pull out a worksheet, they show you a price, and it looks good. Maybe it's at invoice, maybe it's a few hundred under MSRP, and you think, okay, this is reasonable. Let me see if I can negotiate from here. That number's fake. It's not fake in the sense that it's a lie. It's fake in the sense that it's incomplete. It doesn't include the fees they haven't mentioned yet. It doesn't include the accessories they're about to add. It doesn't account for the trade value they're about to lowball. It's a starting point, designed to make you feel like you're getting a deal before they start adding everything back in. We called it the anchor. You show them a number that feels aggressive, and now they're negotiating from that point instead of from reality. And by the time you get to the real price, the one that includes dock fees, dealer-installed accessories, reconditioning charges, all of it, you're so deep into the process that you don't want to start over. Here's the counter. When they show you that first number, you ask, is this the out-the-door price, including all fees, taxes, and any dealer add-ons? Make them commit to a total. Because if they're giving you a price on just the car and leaving everything else out, they're setting you up. Fourth, separating the trade negotiation from the purchase negotiation is the only way to see where the profit is. You tell them you've got a trade. They ask what you owe. They ask what you think it's worth. And then they roll it all into one big worksheet where the trade value, the new car price, the payoff, and the down payment are all mixed together. And once it's mixed, you can't see where the money's actually going. This is intentional. The four-square worksheet, or whatever version of it they're using now, exists to create confusion. They can lowball your trade by $2,000, inflate the new car price by $1,500, and then give you a great deal by discounting the car $1,000 and bumping your trade value $500. You think you won. They just made $2,500 off you and you didn't even see it. I ran this play 1,000 times. Customer comes in, we lowball the trade, they push back, we go to the manager, we come back and raise the trade value and lower the car price. Customer feels like they fought for it and won. What really happened is we moved numbers around on a worksheet and still hit our profit target. The only way to avoid this is to separate the transactions. You negotiate the new car price first, independent of the trade. You get that number locked. Then, you negotiate the trade separately. And if they won't do it that way, you sell the car privately and come back with cash. It's more work. It's also the only way to see the real numbers. Fifth, the finance office is where the dealership makes the most money, and you'll never see it coming. You've negotiated the car, you've settled on a price. You think the hard part's over. It's not. The hard part's about to start, and most people don't even realize they're in a negotiation anymore. You sit down in F&I. The finance manager pulls up your credit. They tell you you're approved. They tell you the rate, and it sounds fine. Maybe it's 4.5%, maybe it's 5%. You don't question it because you don't know what rate you actually qualified for. Here's what's happening. The bank approved you at 3.75. The dealership marked it up 75 basis points and kept the difference. It's legal. It's called rate participation, and it's one of the biggest profit centers in the dealership. You're going to pay an extra $1,500 in interest over the life of the loan, and you'll never know it happened because you don't have anything to compare it to. Then they start presenting products, gap insurance, extended warranty, tire and wheel, paint protection, window tint, and they're presenting them as monthly cost, not total cost. This is only $19 a month. Sounds small. Over 72 months, that's $1,300 for a product that cost the dealership maybe $300. I watched finance managers add $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 to loans in the F&I office, and the customer would sign because they were tired. They were ready to be done. And $19 a month didn't sound like a lot. If you finance through the dealer, you ask this before you sit down in F&I. What rate did I qualify for with the lender, and what rate are you offering me? Make them tell you the buy rate. If there's a markup, you negotiate it down or you walk. And when they present products, you make them give you the total cost, not the monthly cost. You're buying a product, not a payment. Sixth, dealer-installed accessories and fees are pure profit, and most of them are negotiable. You're going through the final paperwork. You see a line item, dealer-installed accessories, $2,800. You ask what that is. They say it's the mud flaps, the all-weather mats, the nitrogen in the tires, the door edge guards. You say you didn't ask for those. They say they come on every car. This is one of the biggest scams running right now, and it's spreading because it works. Dealers install cheap accessories on every car that hits the lot, then charge you $2 or $3 grand for them and call it non-negotiable. Cost them maybe $400 in parts and labor. They're making $2 grand in profit, and they're hiding it as an accessory charge instead of a markup. We'd do this on every new car, and we'd tell customers it was mandatory. Most people would just pay it because they didn't want to lose the car they'd already negotiated for. The ones who pushed back, half the time, we'd take it off. The other half, we'd discount it. It was never actually mandatory. We just said it was. If you see dealer-installed accessories on the worksheet, you say this: "I didn't ask for these, and I don't want to pay for them. Either remove them from the car or remove the charge." If they say it's policy, you say, "Then I'll buy from a dealership that doesn't have that policy." Watch how fast it becomes negotiable. 7th, the delivery process is designed to get you out the door before you read the contract. You've made it through the negotiation. You've made it through F&I. They hand you the keys. They walk you out to the car. They show you how everything works. They take a picture of you with the car. And then they hand you a folder with the paperwork and tell you congratulations. You get home. You open the folder. You actually read the contract. And you realize the payment's different than what you agreed on. Or there's a product in there you didn't approve. Or the interest rate's higher than what they told you. And when you call the dealership, they say, "That's what you signed." This happens all the time. And it happens because the delivery process is designed to be celebratory and rushed. You're excited. You're tired. You just want to take the car home. So you sign without reading, and once you sign, you're stuck. Or at least, that's what the dealership wants you to think. Here's the move. You don't sign anything until you've read it. I don't care how long it takes. I don't care if they're standing there waiting. You read every page of that contract. You verify the price, the rate, the term, the products, the fees. If something's wrong, you stop the process right there, and you make them fix it before you sign. And if they pressure you, if they say they need to close the deal today, if they say the car's sold if you don't take it now, if they try to rush you, that's a red flag. Walk away, because a dealership that won't let you read the contract before you sign it is a dealership that's hiding something. 8th, you can unwind most of this after the fact, but only if you act fast. Let's say you already bought the car, you got home, you read the contract, and you realized you got worked. You're not completely out of options, but you've got to move fast. Most states have some version of a cooling-off period or a right to cancel, but it's usually only a few days, and it's usually specific to financing or added products, not the car itself. You need to call the dealership immediately and tell them you want to cancel the products you didn't agree to or you want to unwind the deal entirely. Gap insurance, extended warranty, tire and wheel, almost all of that is cancelable. And you'll get a prorated refund that goes toward your loan principal. The dealership's going to fight you on it because they lose the commission, but it's your right. You call the finance company directly if the dealership won't cooperate. If the rate's marked up or the payment's wrong, that's harder to fix, but you can refinance through your bank or credit union within the first few months and cut the dealership out entirely. You'll lose some money to the early payoff, but you'll save more over the life of the loan. The key is speed. The longer you wait, the harder it is to undo. If you're going to act, you act within the first week. Here's the bottom line. Buying a new car is not a transaction. It's a negotiation across multiple profit centers, each one designed to extract money from you in ways you won't notice until it's too late. The price is negotiable. The accessories are negotiable. The financing is negotiable. The trade value is negotiable. Everything is negotiable, but only if you know it's happening. I spent 20 years running these plays on people who trusted me. I watched good people walk out with deals that cost them thousands more than they should have paid. And I knew they didn't see it, because we built the system so they wouldn't. I'm not in that world anymore. I don't miss it, and I'm doing this because somebody needs to pull back the curtain and show you what's actually happening when you walk onto a lot. The dealership is not your friend. The salesperson is not your advocate. They work for the store, and the store works for profit. You want to win? You've got to know the game. Watch the next video if you want more insider tips.